It's Dr. Lori. I'm at the Juniata Valley Home and Garden Show, not far from Penn State. Sharon, how did you acquire the beautiful Italian Cameo? It's definitely Italian. It is hand carved. It's a shell cameo, and it looks like it's sitting in 14 karat yellow gold. It's 10. Too bad. Why? Because that indicates that the piece actually was, in fact, set in the United States, but carved in Italy. So it came with a group of them carved, and then they were set in the US. This particular piece is beautiful. What's beautiful about it? The delicacy and the detail of the carving. It's very highly executed. It's a bas-relief, B-A-S, relief. Bas-relief carvings basically have a flat side on one side, and then it's almost three-dimensional on the other side. But some of the areas that are quite delicate and impressive, the curve of her face, her chin, her nose, and all of the waves of her hair, as well as the flower in her hair and the flower at her bodice. Beautiful piece. And big. Now, 10 karat gold brings down the value a little bit more because it is not, 58.5% pure gold. It's not 18 karat gold, which would be 75% solid gold. So it's a lower percentage of solid gold, but still a nice piece. What do you think it's worth? Today, that piece is worth $1,250. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. But it's not your run-of-the-mill cameo. And cameos are coming back strong, very strong. Necklace, gold. So it's got a little piece of jade in the back that's been prong set in the back, and it looks like it is gold. How long is the necklace? Does it hit about, here? Is it 16 inches? Is it 18 inches? 16, 18 inches. It's 14 karat gold, and it's marked. Value on your piece, which dates to the middle to late 20th century. I would say value on that piece is going to be just about $100. So basically what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at a platter. I'm looking at a covered dish here, miniature, right? And then I'm looking at, and these are more in the manner of oversized dollhouse pieces than they are for children making tea parties. So tea party, tea party, tea party. These are for a different element. Those are a little bit too big for that. So the whole group, all made in Japan, all made in the 1930s to the 1950s. Value on all of them, about $30 for all of it. And tell me about their handles, because they look like they're stainless steel, knives and forks. Well, now it says here, sterling. It says, that's what I'm trying to get. It says stainless steel, sterling. So this little portion right here is sterling, and the rest is stainless steel. So that means when you're cutting, basically you got a little bit of strength right here in that crossbar before you hit the blade. Your grandmother's pieces, 100 years old, would put them in the 1920s. Okay? So I would put them about maybe 10 to 15 years later. I'd put them into the 30s. They could be as late as the 40s. They have very nice Bakelite handles, which is what everyone's looking for. And you have a set, you don't have spoons, but you have knives and forks. The stainless steel pieces. All together, the whole set, anywhere between $175 and $200 for all of it. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then I'd be around $250 for 12 knives and 12 forks. You didn't show me all of them, is what you're telling me. That's okay. They're trying to make room for everybody. That's why they told you that. So thank you for letting me know how many so I could reevaluate that number. How did we acquire this hat? Why did you bring this hat? I mean, I'm the leading authority in the country, and she brings me this hat. Why? Was it a curiosity? Is it you've been waiting to figure it out? Is it a big mystery? What's the deal with the hat? Look at this nice color. Look at the nice color coming through the reed. It's nice. So how much do you think it's worth? Value on that piece, more sentimental value than anything, but an early 20th century child's woven reed hat like this with the color. You can see the nice color. You can see the color best from this side. You can see these nice waves of color. Not that difficult, not that easy to do. Also, of course, many of them were made, and they're made for these kids who, of course, are working out on the land. They're working in the farms. So they're going to put their little hat on and go on out and pick up that, harvest kind of deal. Well, that hat is a nice hat, and value on it is about $20. Enjoy. And I'm glad that you have so much stuff. You might have to go back thrifting to get new stuff to bring to me. So Zanesville, Ohio, the very famous Roseville. You've got an early Roseville mark on it, too. Roseville marks like these. Roseville almost always has this particular look, and it has this nice, of course, usually a flower or something like it. This one, it says Roseville because someone wrote it, but actually the Roseville here is the original mark from Zanesville, Ohio, from the early years of the 20th century. It is, I'd say, 7 inches tall, maybe 8 up into the naturalistic handle at the top. What do you think it's worth? Earthenware ceramic, hand glazed, hand painted. Probably $175. This was a major event in San Francisco. It helped to establish the architecture of San Francisco in 1915. It was very important because after the fire, of course, the Great San Francisco Fire of 1906, a lot of these types of buildings were destroyed and had to be erected. It's the official publication of the Panama Pacific International Expo, and a lot of people look for these, historians look for these because they give you the hand-colored engravings of all of these particular buildings that were on display during, again, the expo. So it's really quite fine. It's very beautiful. It's in terrific condition, but you would have been able to purchase that as a souvenir from the exposition, which is like a World's Fair. Well, essentially, it was a World's Fair. It's in good condition except for, this is acid burning, a little bit of damage, but that's what you were looking for. What do you think it's worth? About $75. Commentary on the work for the great 13th century theologian Thomas Aquinas. I went to Catholic school for a few years. Oh my goodness, Thomas Aquinas. Okay, Thomas. All right, all the people are going, I know, Dr. Laurie. Jeez, Thomas Aquinas, all right. Why is it near cardboard? Get rid of the cardboard. Let's look at the paper. Want to look at the paper? Well, the paper's not from the 1300s. The paper's handmade paper. How do I know? I want you to look at all these lines. Do you see all the lines in the paper going across the paper? Do you see how it's lighter here and it's darker here? Do you see this line in the paper? You see these little tiny lines in the paper? 19th century. So they printed something from the 1300s onto a piece of handmade paper, good paper, from the 1800s. And then they put a piece of cardboard next to it. Yeah. All right. I would probably say no more than $50. And I think that's probably nice. It is not from the 13th century. It is the correct text. Yes, that's true, but it's not from that piece of paper is not from the 13th century. And this is a lot about printing. Things get printed on, it has to be on the old paper. Printing is about process and paper. So the process is also more modern, versus the others. And then there's this. Masking tape on the back of a frame is not really what we like. But not your fault. How did we acquire it? Oh, you take Alexis, your daughter, to the estate sales. Well, that's good of you. So she bought this? Did you buy Alexis a loop? Because she needs one.
A loop?
A loop. That's what this is. It's a loop. But if Alexis has a loop, she would be able to identify pieces the way I identify pieces. Well, maybe not the way I identify pieces, but she'd be able to identify pieces with a lot of help. Yes. It's a nice piece by an artist who is active in Eastern Europe, right? Okay. And it's signed in the top, and it's a contemporary piece, so it dates within the last 25 years. It's a nice piece. Okay. The other thing about this particular piece is it's in a nice frame. It's nicely set. And you had another one by the same artist, so I'm hoping that you guys got a deal. But when I looked at this piece, it's not a painting at all. So when you look at the piece and you put the loop there, you're going to see a consistent dot pattern, and that consistent dot pattern indicates that a mechanical process has been used, a machine, to make this print based on a painting. So how much did she pay? Hopefully not too much.
$10.
$10 is not too much. The frame is worth about $30, okay? The print is worth about $10, okay? But basically, she got a $40 piece for $10. Not bad. I suggest you don't have to, but this is acidic cardboard. This is acidic as well. You want to use framer's points if you could. So $40 for a $10 investment. But that is a print, not a painting. You gotta see the brush strokes. Stay tuned. There's more videos from the Juniata Valley Home and Garden Show.